So it's a California high school that has canceled the remainder of its football season now after members of the team were filmed enacting a quote unquote prank that really just appeared to be a slave auction. Watch. Yeah, this happened at River Valley High School, and that's in Yuba City. Now, the Unified School District Superintendent, Doreen Osumi, responded in a written statement. Said this per CNN, the students involved in the unfortunate and extremely distressing incident were barred from competing the rest of the football season for violating the student athlete code of conduct, Osumi said. Because of this, the varsity football team no longer has enough members to play and the rest of the season has been forfeited. Osumi added that some students may face disciplinary consequences as a result of the video, and the school will also implement education, honest, open discussions and instructions around racism. Yeah, and the thing is that this isn't necessarily something new. We've seen this at a lot of schools across the country where these kids think it's completely and totally acceptable. For example, last year in Oregon, parents at Newburgh High School, they found that some of their kids were either participating in or targeted by a social media group chat that was called Slave Trade, which joked about how much participants would pay for their black classmates in a slave auction. A similar incident happened at Aledo High School in Texas, where students also created a social media group called the N-word auction, pretending to auction off their black peers. And some educators have gotten in the action. Back in 2019, a teacher at an elite private school in New York was fired after holding mock slave auctions in 5th grade classes, placing black students in imaginary shackles. The auction simulated the black students being sold like slaves to their white counterparts. It really shows us that some people are well aware of what slavery was, but they just do not care. They don't know, or they don't fully appreciate or give a damn about the degradation, about the rape, the abuse, the torment, the lives that were destroyed, and how some of the consequences of slavery are still very much felt today. That legacy continues, and they yet continue a legacy of hate by way of these reenactments. It's incredibly disgusting. And I'd like to think that if they truly taught students what slavery really looked like, that there wouldn't be these auctions out there, because people would know how incredibly disgusting, dehumanizing, and offensive slavery was as an institution. Jessica.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I think the punishment here for these players really needs to be relevant to precisely what they did, because an unintended consequence of this is now the black members of that sports team are not going to be able to play a season, right? If you're counting on your football career to be your ticket into college, if you enjoy playing football, guess what? Now you can't play a season. And so now they're being punished for the behavior of their ignorant teammates. I really think when we look at this from a perspective of restorative justice, what would be relevant would be mandatory education on the history of slavery. They should have to stay after school, the members of the team that decided to make this TikTok and do this thing, because that would be the thing that addresses the root cause of the problem, which is their ignorance about slavery, so much so that they're willing to make a joke out of it.
Yeah, and it shows you that they either don't know or they are incredibly disturbed individuals. Either way, we got a problem.